is Mrs. Mary Uduma. I am the chairperson of the Ndupekalo Foundation, established by Nigeria Internet Registration Association to give back to the society. It is the corporate social responsibility arm of the Nigeria Internet Registration Associations. Our focus is child safety online, skill building for youth and women, research on domain name system. We want as many young people as possible to be part of the industry called domain name industry.
I want to appreciate the Kanu Foundation for organizing these trainings in our schools in order to educate our children and teachers. It's a good thing. We've never had that before, so we're happy to have such.
A lot of challenges have been faced by Nigerian children as far as online safety is concerned. These days, it's becoming more difficult. Why is it difficult? Because sometimes you don't even know who you are dealing with. Recently, I think the government is doing a lot. NGOs, CSOs and other organizations are also trying their best to make sure that our online space is safe for our children.
Of recent, I think 2 years ago, NCC came up with a program that they want to come up with an act that will be specific in looking at how children are protected online. And there are a lot of stakeholders that they have brought into the equation to take the process and the program further. We want to bring stakeholders together, have a conversation on the way forward to make sure that everyone that has interaction with a child would also have interaction or would also be part of the process of making sure the child that is going online is protected. From this summit, we hope that all the stakeholders will contribute to the process and the sensitization will go beyond just the summit.
There is need for online safety, but we also need policy frameworks with which to regulate them. And that is where the NCC is coming up. Also, I know that there's a bit of collaboration with most of the social media platforms we have to ensure they put consideration to the safety of children online.
We've had several policies that the government has put in place, right from we should have the Nigerian online child protection policy, several other policies. Then we had also a policy which I was privileged to be part of those that actually drafted the policy, which is called the National Child Online Policy Protection and Strategy 2023, which was actually passed by the Federal Executive Council in February this year. The government has actually engaged a lot of tech companies, both local and then the international tech companies.
In terms of the gap when it comes to digital literacy, there are a few of them. There is a lack of digital infrastructure. There is a severe lack of ICT strategies and policies. We also have the gap between rural and urban communities, where a set of these communities have electricity, have a better socioeconomic status, have better access to devices, data plans, and such. And the truth is, these schools in particular are not going to prioritize digital literacy when it is seen as having a negative social impact. So where their poverty levels are to an extent, they would focus on what they determine to be their needs, which would be electricity, food, etc. It then behoves on the government to focus on providing said needs so that they can begin to prioritize digital literacy.
There's this move towards digital literacy. And, it's one of the core skills that we teach in schools that our children should imbibe and they become digital literate and global citizens. In fact, presently, FCT is training teachers on digital literacy. And by doing that, the children will be educated, they also become digital literate. I think at the end of the day, in fact, in FCT, we are trying to move from the paper to paperless.
Currently, there is the content policy. That means to ensure that the contents is rated 18 plus, 12 plus, 10 plus, so that the content will be rated per your age. As we all know, most of the social media platforms do not even allow you to have an account without being up to the age of consent, which is about 18. However, if you have to do that for whatever reason, there are contents that are restricted, even for adults.
The Federal Executive Council in January of 2023 adopted a child's online policy as well, which is going to be helpful in guiding state governments in protecting children's rights.
From the reports we're getting in the media organizations, you can see a lot of threats against children, and especially also teenagers and then young adults.
So prevalent threats that children face online, one would be cyberbullying. Second is they face a lot of issues when it comes to predators. So the predators might be sexual predators or people who are aiming them for financial issues. There's also an issue of the child's privacy. And then children are more susceptible to downloading malware or getting scammed on the internet, really. So those are the most prevalent issues that children face when it comes to online threats.
Right now, Nigeria, as it were, is not 100% equipped to tackle such. Though we are doing quite well, the government is doing quite well, the law enforcement agencies are really putting in their best. But as you know, technology evolves. So for the agencies to be able to be up to date, they also need to evolve with the evolving technologies.
Generally speaking, mental health is something that is evolving in Nigeria. Usually when people hear mental health, they think it has to do with people being mad, and so they're not really willing to come forward to seek mental health. But that's generally speaking. However, in terms of children who suffer online abuse, there's no structure that I'm aware of that caters specifically to children who have these issues. However, I know that we have quite a number of psychiatric hospitals that have child and adolescent psychiatrists who are well equipped to handle these issues. But as to structure, there's no particular place.
Thank God for the department we have, which is called the Counseling and Rehabilitation Department, which actually takes care of issues to give psychosocial support, rehabilitation for victims. So we've tried to see how we can infuse that into the system. From the resources we have from the department that handles that, I think they've been able to support, because they are already trained counselors that we have here. Because as you know, NAPTI, one of our core agencies, not just arrests, not just prosecution, and not just investigation, but we have a department that is saddled with the responsibility of taking care of victims. So, and that is called the Counseling and Rehabilitation Department. So they do that. But for the other ones, the human trafficking, that has been, yes, we have already good hands, professionals that are handling that, but this is an emerging crime for NAPTI and even for Nigeria.
Some children in senior secondary school do ICT and data processing and all that, but digital citizenship has not been included in the curriculum. And I think that this is something that is really important. A lot of our children are exposed to the internet, a lot of devices very early, so I think that this should be included in the curriculum as early as the primary school years, maybe mid-level, from the time they're 7, 8 and all those, so that they can, understand what internet is all about. Parents need to play a proper supervisory role so that they are supervising their children well. They're ensuring that their children have some regulations, have some restrictions online. They're the ones who are in the best position to, speak to their children and tell their children about online safety. I'm aware that there's some applications that can restrict what sites children go to on the internet. So these are some of the things that parents can do to, promote online safety.
Let's see how we can join hands, train the teachers and train their parents, train the law enforcement agencies, train the lawmakers, train the policy makers, and also the children themselves. Catch them young, give them, train them on how to protect themselves as well, and how to report when they are bullied online. We need to do that, and that's the essence of it.